Is it?
Not yet, but I'm just refreshing. Yes, it is. Yes, you're live.
So we just start in a few seconds.
Yes.
So Shino, I'm presuming you're able to see my screen with the word DeFi index written there, and
Yeah, I can see that.
awesome. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's discussion on crypto metrics. So metrics are statistics and numbers that crypto investors need to look at when they're deciding which crypto to buy, which to hold, which to sell. Now, if we look at the list of the various kinds of crypto metrics, we can divide them into 7 categories. So the first one is supply metrics, where we are talking about how much of that crypto is available in the market. So there we have 3 categories. I'm going to go deeper into all of them. So we talk about circulating, maximum, and total. Then we talk about the capitalization related metrics, where we talk about market cap and fully diluted market cap. Then we have an interesting concept called volume. Then we have price metrics. So, whether we are talking about the open, high, low, close, all-time high and all-time low. Holder statistics, that usually applies to cryptos like Bitcoin, where who holds how much is very, very important. Return on investment and TVL, or total value locked. So let me begin with it now. So if we look at the basic metrics of the crypto market, then as of right now, there are about 9,478 cryptos that are actively being traded out of a total of 17,721. That's a huge number of cryptos. And the active market pairs are 55,000 plus. What's a market pair? So BTC, USDT. That means you can buy BTC against USDT, which is a stable coin. So BTC, USDT is called a trading pair or a market pair. So like this, there are different pairs. You can buy cryptos against Bitcoin, USDT, Ethereum, Litecoin. So each of those are pairs, and there are more than 55,000 of them today. The more the better, the more liquidity that creates. There are 462 active exchanges out of a total of 1594 total exchanges, which include centralized as well as decentralized. Then another very important metric is what I consider is very critical is the fear and greed index. Kodat, are you able to see that clearly on my screen? The fear and greed index. Shino, are you able to see that?
Okay. Yes, I can see that.
Awesome. So according to me, and in fact, not just according to me, a lot of people say this, the best time to buy any financial asset is when other people want to sell. And the best times to sell is when other people want to buy. So even Warren Buffett has spoken a lot about this concept. So when we look at the fear and greed index, right now it's at extreme fear and its score is about 20 and it goes below. It goes, I've seen it go down all the way almost to 0. The more the fear in the market, which means everybody is expecting crypto to go down even more. That is why there is so much of fear. Actually, that's the best time to start to buy, because the whole world is just blindly selling and trying to get out, bringing the prices pretty low. Of course, that doesn't mean we just go and buy any random crypto. Usually, this index is perfect for Bitcoin. So if I see it go down to 10, it's always a good time to pick up. And then when it starts to go this side, well, the moment it comes about 70, 80, definitely is a time to sell and exit. Because that means everybody in the market has become very greedy and they feel the price is going to keep going up. So they are all buying. Well, that's the perfect time for you to sell and exit. I hope you found this particular metric useful. Any questions so far, Shino?
Yeah, I've already put it in the chat.
Oh, okay, great.
Tawfiq has a question, market pair importance.
So the market pair, the more the market pairs that you have, sorry, the more is the liquidity in the market. So let's take an example. Let's say there is a new crypto which has come out. Okay, let's call it ABC. And as of right now, it has only one market pair, BTC, ABC. What does that mean? that to buy that crypto, I have to have Bitcoin only and nothing else. Now, that's not practical because so many investors are there who may not have Bitcoin. They may have stable coins and Ethereum and other things. But because there is no trading pair for that, first I will have to sell my other crypto, convert it to Bitcoin, then use Bitcoin to buy that ABC. That means I'm going to end up losing on two conversions. And that's a bad thing. So ideally, any good crypto should have multiple liquidity market pairs, definitely with Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, USDT. For me, these four are important. And then, of course, your local country's currency. So an INR trading pair would be great for Indian investors. Shavik, I hope that answered your question. Then let's look at now overview. So when we look at, say, a coin market cap kind of an interface, so you can see that when it opens up, it shows you about 100 cryptos on the first page, and then it shows you thousands and thousands of cryptos, which is again obviously not very practical. But when we look at cryptos, we can immediately at a glance see that it shows us the logo, the name, and the symbol first. Now, all three are important because sometimes you may end up buying the wrong crypto. So, for example, when we talk Ethereum, that's not the right word. There is ETH, which is Ether, and then there is Ethereum Classic, which is ETC. Their logos may look very similar, but names are slightly different. Logos are different. So just make sure you don't end up buying the wrong crypto. That does happen because ETH is really expensive and ETC is really cheap, but sometimes people make a mistake. And in fact, even in Bitcoin, there are multiple cryptos that have the exact same logo, but colors are different. So a Bitcoin will be orange, but a Bitcoin Cash, which is BCH, will be with a green. Otherwise, the B looks the same. So just remember that. That's an important thing. Then we see the latest price. Then we see in the last 24 hours, how has the price moved, up or down. So if it shows you in green, that means in the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin has gone up by 4.3, now 4.41. It'll keep moving, right? And then in the last 7 days, what has happened? So it's gone down by about 12.15%. And usually you will see when things start to go down, it's a sea of red. I mean, like you'll scroll down and you'll see almost everything is red except stable coins that you can ignore the price. Doesn't matter. So usually when there's a down, it's a sea of red with very few greens. When it's going up, it's a sea of greens with very few reds. So that's a quick way to figure out what's happening in the market. Then we have the market capitalization, a very important thing, which is there in the stock market also. Total number of cryptos which are available in the market for ordinary people like you and me to buy and sell, that is called circulating supply. Multiply by the current price, and that is called market cap. Very important metric because usually, you can say cryptos can be of two types. One are the very new ones. So they obviously are going to have a low market cap. And the second, we should look for the high market cap ones. So they are always considered more stable because there's billions of dollars in them. And that metric is the market cap. So I am usually very comfortable with cryptos where the market cap is 1 billion and upwards. I am usually very apprehensive if a crypto is below 1 billion of market cap. Now I will teach you a way to quickly read this number. So you will see that these numbers are always long and commas. Just remember this. So 3 digits, 6, 9, and then you go to 10. The moment you hit 10 digits, that is billion. 11 is 37 billion, and then 12 is 737 billion. So that's how you instantly read these numbers. So just start counting. 3 digits, 6 digits, 9 digits, 10th digit is the billion. That makes it easy. So for example, how much would Tether's market cap be? 3, 6, 9, 10. So 79 billion. And then if you scroll down to the smaller ones, so yeah, let's take an example of decentralized. 3, 6, 9, 10. That means it is 5 billion is the market cap. Of course, always you will notice ever since crypto started, Bitcoin has always been number one, Ethereum always number two. Bitcoin is right now 737 billion. Ethereum is 325 billion. Now that's pretty low because I mean we've seen Bitcoin I think go almost to 2 trillion. Right now it's come down all the way down to 737, but then that's a cycle which happens all the time. So we can expect this to keep happening. It's usually a lot of fake market news related things. Like right now everybody's saying because of Russia, Ukraine, prices are falling. Makes zero sense. Crypto has got nothing to do with Russia or Ukraine, but that's an excuse used by the market manipulators or the whales to move prices up and down. And like I told you, if you consider the fear and greed index and you keep looking at the news in the market, you'll be able to predict when the bottom starts and the market starts to move out. Any questions?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. There are two questions I've posted. Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, sure. Please read them.
So Gunjan has mentioned for DeFi last self-learning session, funding part was not covered. It means it is another video. Can you please share the video where funding raising with DeFi?
Sure. I'll do that.
Second is from Sovik. Why all green and why red? Any psychology behind the color?
No, I mean, that's just the way it is. Human beings, for us, green is always a good forward. Traffic light is also green, so it means move forward, and red is that things are down. I mean, there's no particular reason. It's just, I guess, human psychology. Then we look at something called volume. Very, very important. So volume is how much of that crypto has changed hands in the last 24 hours. Now, logically speaking, I would say this is one of the most important for a medium of exchange kind of crypto. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So, obviously cryptos can be divided into many categories, right? Now, when we look at velocity, so for me, that's a very important critical factor. So velocity is nothing but this VMR ratio multiplied by 100. What I'm trying to see is how much of that crypto is really changing hands. Now, take an example in India when demonetization happened. A lot of people said that the economy has contracted. Why? Because suddenly the amount of cash available reduced. And when the amount of cash reduces, automatically the economy contracts. So that means for any economy, there should always be money available for circulation, for people to buy and sell. In the crypto world, we measure that velocity by using this simple ratio, which is dependent upon how much of the crypto has changed hands in the last 24 hours. And the more that number, the better it is. And you will be very surprised that you don't see Bitcoin in this top ratio, and it is never there. Because when we look at this ratio, for whatever reason, I have found that Bitcoin Cash is always the highest, followed by Gala, which is Gala Games, which is a gaming platform. And then there is Sushi Swap, Balancer, Sandbox, and Curve. Now, yeah, I have a question.
Sorry, Sovik has explained that the question that he meant was, why market fall at once and then rise at once?
Oh yeah, sure. So, well, please understand, no matter what we say about cryptos and how decentralized they are, crypto is highly dependent upon Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the real mover and shaker. So when Bitcoin moves up, everything goes with it. And when Bitcoin goes down, almost everything goes down. Suddenly, people seem to forget about fundamentals. It's a mad craze to just all prices follow Bitcoin. So that's the reason when we notice green, just remember, if Bitcoin's green, everything goes green. If Bitcoin's red, almost everything goes red. And that's something I've been seeing for many years. Why it happens like that is a tough question to answer, but that's what happens all the time. Hope that answered your question, Saul. Now, coming back to this velocity, as you can see, Bitcoin Cash has always had the highest. So the transactions are very, very high. And like I said, Gala has also been always very high. Maybe a lot of people do play that game and they do exchange these tokens with each other. But this is an important thing. And for me, I always like cryptos that have a very high velocity and volume. So that's this volume. And then we have circulating supply, which means how much of this crypto is available for common people like you and me to buy and sell. That's called circulating supply. And that is available here. Now we know for Bitcoin, that number is limited. The maximum supply is limited. So we'll come to that very shortly. Now let's take a deep dive into Bitcoin metrics. So again, when we look at it right on top, we can see the price. Here it shows us how much up or down is happening in the last 24 hours. Then it shows us here, we can do a drop down that whether we want to see in the last 24 hours, 1 month or 1 year, what has been the high and low movement. So right now I put it as 1 year. So in the last 1 year, price has gone from $28,000 approx minimum all the way up to 68,000. So it gives you an idea that even if you had bought in the last 1 year at about 28,000, you are actually at a 10,000 profit, $10,000 profit on Bitcoin. Then market cap, I've already explained to you. Then there is a concept called fully diluted market cap. So what that means is, we know that as of right now, the number of Bitcoins in the world is about 18.9 million. Every 10 minutes, new Bitcoins are being generated. As of right now, 6.25 Bitcoins are coming approximately every 10 minutes. So right now, the total is 18.966 million. And if you check in few minutes, it will go up by 6.25 Bitcoin. This is circulating supply. What is the maximum supply? 21 million, which means the number of Bitcoins can never go beyond 21 million because the algorithm makes it at. And then there is total supply, which in Bitcoin's case is the same. Circulating and total is always the same for Bitcoin. But there are some cryptos where these two numbers are different. So let's take an example of Binance Coin, BNB. When Binance Coin started in 2017, in their white paper, they said, we will issue 200 million coins. After that, every 3 months, every quarter, we will burn some coins, buy back from the market and destroy till there are 100 million left. So in Binance Coin, the circulating supply keeps going down. The maximum supply is going to be, today it's a higher number, but very soon it will become just 100 million. And total supply is how much was issued minus how much was burned. That is the figure which is left. So that is why you have total supply as a separate number. But like I said, in Bitcoin, there is no concept of burning. That's why these two numbers are the same. So when you multiply circulating supply by the price, you get market cap. When you multiply total supply by the price, you get fully diluted. What does it mean? If right now all 21 million Bitcoins had been issued and the price was this 38,853, then what would the market cap be? And that is the meaning of fully diluted market cap. Then volume we can see in the last 24 hours. So let's read this number: 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 digits. So $24.5 billion of Bitcoin has exchanged hands. And then is a very interesting ratio, which is volume divided by market cap. The higher the number, the better it is, because it means that much of that crypto is changing hands. So in Bitcoin's case, it's a very low number, 0.03. And like I said, in cryptos like BCH, Bitcoin Cash, it's much higher. The highest you will find is in stable coins. Usually their ratio is more than 1. That means if at any given point of time, let's look at it here. So if we look at the most popular stable coin, which is Tether or USDT, so we can see that, okay, the market cap is about 79 billion. And in the last 24 hours, about 57 billion has changed hands. So that's quite a good, strong number. Let me just show it to you. So we can see it is 0.7, and sometimes it goes above 1 also. So 0.7 is the ratio, whereas in case of Bitcoin, it is only 0.03. Small number of Bitcoins actually changing hands. Then let's look at some holder statistics. So, you must have heard about the concept of whales. People who own 1% and above of a crypto, or 0.1%, depending on the crypto. So in Bitcoin, we usually follow this. So we can always see that, okay, you know what? As of right now, this particular address is holding 1.2% of the entire Bitcoin of the world. And this is the number of Bitcoins it is holding. Then we can see another one here where it is holding 0.8, 0.6. So like this, you can see the top 20 addresses. And you can go into the Bitcoin Explorer, enter this address, and you can see all the transactions that have ever been made by this address. And that's a good thing to follow. So what happens is, when we see that the whales are moving their crypto to an exchange, they are going to sell. So that signifies a selling pressure in the market. When we see the whales are moving their crypto out of the exchange onto cold wallets, it is signifying they are not going to sell. So a strong buying pressure is indicated in the market. So this is a very simple way. That is why people follow the whales and try to see what the large players are doing. If they are moving to exchanges, time to sell. They are moving it to cold wallets, time to buy. Any questions?
I don't see any questions posted recently.
Sure. Then there is another thing that I want to discuss with you, and that is for decentralized finance, blockchains and protocols, we follow a slightly different kind of a statistic or metric. Now,
to interrupt, but before you move on, I've just got 2 questions. One is, why is the address is of different length? Yeah. And second question from Sovik is, Stakeholders concept also exists in crypto world, question mark.
So when it comes to addresses, why they're different? Because there are two technological standards when it comes to issuing Bitcoin addresses. One's a slightly smaller, one is slightly longer, but both of them work on Bitcoin. There is no issue. What is the second question?
Stakeholder concept also exists in crypto world, question.
What do you mean by that exactly? Could you clarify that question?
Could you clarify, Sovik? Address will also indicate or identify any fraudulent transaction.
No, that's tough to do because, so yeah, okay, fine. If you look at the world of crypto investigations, so we do take addresses and then try to figure out what all that address has ever done. But there are some ways in which you can hide that information. So for example, when you use a mixing service, what they could do is they could take your crypto because it may have come from some crime, let's say, and then break it into small parts and transfer it to hundreds of different addresses and then, move it into some other addresses and then give you access. So it becomes a little difficult for us to then track down what's really happening. But of course, on the other side, the police and law enforcement are always trying and finding better ways of tracking this down. And criminals are always finding good ways of hiding their transactions. Now, when it comes to decentralized finance, the most important metric is TVL, which is total value locked, which means how many assets. Locked means they're not like permanently locked, but as of right now, how many different assets of different projects are running on this platform and generating revenue or creating a revenue stream or generating new tokens, whatever yield. So we realize when we look at the top DeFi blockchains, if you look at the top five, Ethereum is number one, Terra is number two, Binance 3, Avalanche 4, and Phantom 5. Now, many people, that is why, sometimes when I talk about crypto, they say, why are you not talking about Solana or Polygon at times? Well, if I talk top five, I have to only talk about top five in TVL. And you realize as of right now, Polygon's at 8. Tron is at 7. Solana here. And Algorand, Cardano, they just don't exist. If you look here, you're not even able to find them. A lot of very unknown ones, like not too many people know about Chronos or Osmosis or so many of these others. But you have to realize, don't go on the marketing, that how much the media is talking about a blockchain. That's irrelevant. We need to look at actual numbers. How much dollar value is in a particular blockchain? And that is one of the most important things to look at. So that is TVL. So when we look at Ethereum, $120 billion is locked in it. And number two is Terra, which is only 17 billion. Look at the difference. 120 and 17, less than 1/10. And that's where you realize why Ethereum is still the big boss. I mean, no matter how we can say that the Ethereum transaction fee is very high. Maybe, but look at the volume and value locked in it. People are still using Ethereum in a big way because they may not be doing very tiny transactions. So the transaction fee doesn't matter to them. They don't care about the gas fee because they may be making transactions in hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. And that's the most important metric to remember. Of course, this changes from time to time. Like some time ago, Binance was at 2. But right now, Terra happens to be at number 2. Although we can see Ethereum has 543 different DeFi protocols running. Sorry. Whereas Luna has only 19 and Binance has 316. So even that's important. And then of course, we can click on it and then go deeper. And we can see, okay, what are these different kinds of platform, what is running inside, which are these protocols? You can see all the details here. So I would recommend always look at these, go into the blockchain, and then we can see, okay, on Binance, what are the big ones? So we can see, okay, Pancake Swap is probably the largest here. So like this, we can see, then we can see the TVL of Pancake Swap also, and the market cap by TVL. So these are very important metrics that we have to always remember. I have made a separate video on crypto valuation. So how to value DeFi using this market cap to TVL, I've explained in that video. So you can go and check that out and get clarification. So this is how we look at all the DeFi ones. Are there any questions that you guys have?
There is one question from Georgie. What's your view on managing our crypto holdings online to track it? I use the portfolio section of Coin Market Cap site now. Is there any other better place?
Okay, so there are two apps that I would recommend. One is, of course, Coin Market Cap, but I find that the app version is better than the web version. So I find the web version is quite cluttered, but the app is beautifully done. And second is for Messari. So both of them will give you this, and I think both of them are equally good. But like I said, use the app, not the web interface. The web interface is quite horrible. Any other question?
Yeah, there's one more. Should we consider the number of protocols or TVL?
Well, see, ultimately TVL is more important, but the number of protocols also makes it's there to verify. Like for example, when I look here and I see that for Terra it's 19, whereas for Ethereum it's 543, or even Binance is 318. I would prefer Binance because I can see there are lots of protocols running there. If it's such a small number like just 19, I'm always a little apprehensive. The more the protocols, ideally the better it is. But of course, we have to also realize it should not be that out of these 300 protocols, one or two are big, high value, and the others are very, very small value. But if it's equal value, then the more protocols, I would say it's a better chain. And here I always believe 3 is the golden number for MCAP to TVL. So Ethereum is usually around 3. So right now it's 2.7.
That's why my favorite crypto is at number 3.
Come again?
You said 3 is the magic number. So I'm saying that's why my favorite crypto is at number 3.
Which is your favorite crypto?
Binance. And
oh, yours is, I say Binance is 5.2. So I would say as of right now, it's actually overvalued. Whereas Ethereum is around, I mean, it's a little undervalued as of right now. And Terra, I would say, is quite undervalued. So these are different things that Polygon is pretty okay at 2.6, which is a good, very close to 3. Solana is also pretty okay. But again, we've got to look at multiple factors. I mean, we can't just predict based on one factor because cryptos are complex. So we need to look at multiple things. But in my experience, this has been a good formula for me. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys is that so I have, we have something called Future Money Wallet. And the reason is very simple. So we are not trying to create our own data. We are in fact pulling data from platforms like CoinMarketCap, which by the way is owned by Binance. I don't know if many of you may not have known that, and Messari and others. But what I've realized is it is not practical to follow thousands of cryptos. So I identified about 50 cryptos and I only follow those. And you remember I was telling you about the logo issue. Can you see? So Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash logos are very similar. The difference is primarily the color. So whereas this is orange and this is green. So always remember, don't end up buying the wrong crypto. So I follow about 50, and over the next few days, we will be coming out with some indexes. So if you don't know what an index is, like you must have heard about Sensex, Bombay Stock Exchange Sensitive Index. An index makes it easy for you to follow a number of cryptos which are similar. So instead of looking individually, you could buy cryptos as a group. So for example, when it comes to blockchain cryptos, so there are about 16 cryptos or 17 cryptos that I follow. When it comes to medium of exchange, there are 6. When it comes to DeFi, there are 8. For gaming metaverse, there are these 5. And for Web 3.0, these are the 10. So we will be launching our indexes over the next few days. And that will make it easier for you to decide how to divide your portfolio. And if you are following the Learn Crypto with Rohas online course that I'm running on LinkedIn as of right now, so 2-3 lectures more and we are done with it. The whole course is going to be completed. In the last one, I am going to talk to you about how to build your portfolio. So you are starting with 0, you're in category 1, what to do. $100 budget, category 2, what to do. $1,000 budget, $10,000 budget, and more than that. So I'll make it easier for you guys to plan out your crypto portfolio. Any questions?
No, D.
Okay, great. So this video also I will now post online. It will be part of this free online course that I'm running. Please make sure you attend all the 20 lessons and then you can begin your crypto journey. Of course, if you're already part of your journey, then maybe this will help you to refine and make better decisions. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.